Okay, one thing that might help is to just think about the shape of the chords, how they look. So in every key, a 1 chord will look like this, right? It'll just be 3 notes stacked on top of each other because they're all like skips. They're all a skip apart, right? So there's no lines and spaces here like you would see on a staff, but it would still have that kind of shape. A 5/7 chord has this sort of shape where there's 1 on the bottom and then the 2 at the top close together, right? Not very good at drawing it. But you can see how this sort of shape is different from that sort of shape. So you can just kind of look at that and see, like, it's kind of like a little alfalfa sprout with a note hanging down. Maybe it's on that side, I don't know. So that's the shape of the 5/7 chord, right? And then the 4 chord has the same note on the bottom as the 1 chord, but then instead of it being skip, skip, it goes up a little bit higher, and there's 2 notes that are a skip apart, but there's more of a space between the tonic and then the other 2 notes. Does that make sense? So you can kind of think about it that way. If we see what it looks like on the staff, here we see, is it a treble clef, bass clef? So let's look at the key of C, right? So let's look at the bass clef. We've got C, E, G, right? So those are 3 space notes all stacked on top of each other. So you can see that shape. Or, for example, an F chord. F, A, C, right? Has that same sort of shape. Or a G chord. G, B, D. They're just all skips, like little snowmen on the staff, right? So these are the 1 chords. Okay, but then if we want to look at the 4 chords, the 4 chord, well, yeah, let's talk about the 4 chord. So the 4 chord has the same root, the same note on the bottom. So a C4 chord is C, but instead of being E and G, that 3rd just gets shifted up 1. So it's F, A. I'm not drawing it very well. Let me draw it over here. C, F, A, right? So you see there's still a skip here, there's still a 3rd here. It's just not as close to the tonic as it was here. This chord versus that chord. You can see they look different, right? They're a different shape. It's like he's got a hole in his belly or something. Okay, so that's the 4 chord. And then the 5/7 chord is a little bit easier to recognize because, you know, the bottom note drops down a half step. B, F, G. It's kind of shaped like that. So you can tell, you can kind of see how these 3 chords are different. The 1 chord will always be like a little snowman. The 4 chord, it's like he's got a little hole in his belly here. And then the 5/7 chord, it has these 2 notes close together and then 1 at the bottom. So maybe that will help to think more about just how the chord is shaped. And then as far as what key it's in, you know, we're getting to the point now in these books where we're going to be playing songs in different key signatures. So the song will be in the key of F, which means it will have a B flat. So you know that you're in the key of F, so that anytime you see a shape that looks like this, you can know that that's a 1 chord. Or anytime you see a shape that looks like this, you can know that that's a 5/7 chord. Because it's that shape and we're in the key of F, right? Or if you see a shape that looks like this, F, let's see, F, A, C, F, B flat, D. right? So again, if it's this sort of shape, you can know that that's a 4 chord. So maybe that's helpful for you. Let me know if you need any more help with that.